Well, hello everyone. This is Chrystal with Chrystal Lynn Astrology coming to you from Southern California. And I am super excited today to get to talk with you guys about what's going on up in the sky. We are right now moving into the full moon. Um, we are at almost uh, an exact aspect between the sun and the moon right now. The sun is in Sagittarius, and the moon is in Gemini. Anytime we have the sun and the moon, we know that's a full moon. For those of you who are new to astrology, I like to, remind some of those things we think we all know. But for many of us, we're still learning that when the sun is on one side and the moon is on the other, that is when we have our full moon. When the sun and the moon are together on the same side, with the same planet, we have our new moon. So right now, we also have a very specific or very significant scenario because we are in an eclipse pattern. Because the north node is in Gemini and the south node is in Sagittarius. So with the sun being in Sagittarius, it's making a conjunction to the south node, and the moon, which is a lunar eclipse, is making a conjunction to the north node. And so, what is Sagittarius? What is Gemini? Sagittarius and Gemini really represent kind of this storyline of the small town girl moving into the big city lights. It reminds me a lot of times of shows like American Idol. When you see the young country girl that is coming out and putting herself out there. She's grew up in a small town and she's singing with this big voice, and she gets the contract and she wins American Idol, and now suddenly she's a pop star and everybody knows her, but she was just a little country girl. The little family, I mean, Dolly Parton is a very, very, very good analogy of that type of storyline. This small town girl moving into the big world and becoming this world renowned person. So, what is happening right now in your life? Because the energy and the storyline that's happening right now for you could be something that connects to this storyline of the future as this lunar eclipse really engages us into 2021. What is the storyline that we're moving into it? Now, for me, I did want to share because I've been kind of going through some difficult things during this eclipse over the last 2 weeks. And anytime you have an eclipse pattern, you can see the energy. The 2 weeks ahead and the 2 weeks after usually are the most significant. Okay. So 2 weeks ago, my mother, who many of you guys I've talked about know I take care of, she's very healthy. She's 82. My Virgo mother, she's amazing. She's so much fun. But she struggles with just some allergies and lung issues and different things over life and different scenarios along the way. And so she has her things that she does, and I take care of her. I'm there for her. I help her with all the things of life that she needs, and going to the doctor and all those things. And whenever there's been an issue, hospital stuff, that's I'm her girl, and I'm there for her. And she's always there for me too. So I want to make it not look like I'm some martyr. It's just she's my mother, and this is the role that I'm playing right now in her life. And I'm so grateful to get to play it because it's a privilege. It really is a privilege. And it's not easy, though. It's not easy. It's not easy. But again, it's something about, really getting to be involved with somebody in life and death situations. A lot of times, we have different things in common with people. Some people are our friends and maybe went to high school with, and we have football games in common, and we remember the good old days or the dances, or the dates or, the ditching school or the friendships or the relationships that are kind of fun and surfacey. And then we have relationships, say, with our siblings or our cousins or something that, these relationships, maybe we've shared grandparents or shared aunt and uncles, or maybe people have passed away, or we've been to weddings together or births together. And so we have in common family events that are very personal and very intimate. And so you may not, all do the same thing characteristically or hobby wise, but as family, we experience life and death together on different levels. And, that's been the process with my mother. Now, she went into the hospital The first week in November, November 8th, that first week with pneumonia. She just had gotten pneumonia, gotten sick. They admitted her, put her on antibiotics. She started doing better, sent her home. I picked her up, brought her home, and she just went downhill. Like this pneumonia came back like a vengeance, and it was so scary. She got so sick so fast and was just quickly, and I started to call 911, get her right back into the hospital. You can't mess around with it when she wasn't breathing good. Turns out she got COVID in the hospital the first time. My 82-year-old mother, my worst fear, okay, my worst fear. I mean, whose worst fear wouldn't it be? Because it's all of our worst fear right now. And then also my worst fear that I couldn't get to my mother because I'm so close to her and I'm such a Virgo-y caretaker that, it's part of my role. And so they wouldn't let me into the hospital for over a week. I couldn't touch her. I could talk to her on FaceTime and everything, which was great. And I mean, they took really good care of her. They were amazing and they saved her life. I mean, she made it a whole week of fighting literally for her life. This was no joke. This COVID is no joke. And so I went through, whatever, however you want to look at it. It's my worst, it's but a worst fear. What is your worst fear right now? Have you been through it? Has it come up? Have you lived through it? Maybe it came up and you faced it. Maybe your worst fear. Maybe we're all dealing with our worst fears. And that's where Mercury, Venus, and Scorpio is bringing out for many of us our worst fears, life and death scenarios. That eagle eye, paying attention to those very strategic and sensitive subject matters. Psychology, psychiatric, the complex dynamics, like my mother and my dynamic. What dynamics do you have with your parents or your siblings or your children? That's the things that are coming to the surface right now. Sun in Sag, Moon in Gemini, and this North Node really talks about us finding our tribes, our neighborhoods, our communities. Like right now, with what's going on with my mother, with Moon in Gemini, she lives a few miles from me, so I'm in my community, and my friends in my community are supporting me, and my children and siblings and cousins and what have you become a part of praying for and supporting a family member. And so with the Moon in Gemini, you kind of see that energy that as a community, we're all banding together to help support someone or something. And for us, for my family, it's our matriarch, it's our mother, and that's our focus. So, you may say to yourself, well, you know what? Everybody talks about, especially with Mars and Aries still, these extreme transits and how they can personally affect your life. And for some people, we are saying be careful. They can be erratic, can be volatile energy out there in cars, especially with Moon and Gemini, with Mars and Aries. It can be volatile energy. There's a lot of things going on out there. Just because you stay home and you think, oh, I'm going to hide my house so these transits will pass over me and will not affect me whatsoever, that's not how it works. It's not how it works. It may not affect you extremely, where if you'd be out there on the road, the risk you could take is getting in an accident, being careful of. It could also be that you're at home and you get a phone call that somebody is in an accident or somebody needs help. And you suddenly have to jump into somebody else's life that had nothing to do with your life. You were fine. Or maybe you can't even leave your house, but now you're in prayer and all you can do is think about that person and be concerned for that person and pray for that person. So it's not always that these transits hit our life personally. We get it. Like right now, personally for me, it is hitting my life through my mother and through the world and through the pandemic and through the fear. And, I'm not even talking about the fact that I've been right in the middle of it, and God, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Lord. I did not get COVID. It passed over me. From day one, I've been concerned because I do take care of my mother. And, I saw these scenarios where people could not get to their parents and they were getting COVID in the nursing homes and different things, or their parents were getting it at home and people could not go into the house. And I'm like, that's just not going to happen. I just can't imagine how that would be, because I'm, like all of us, when it's our family, we jump in, our children, our mother, our spouses, whoever that person is for you that you'll jump in front of the train for. We all may have that person. Well, we have those. And I was just super fortunate because from day one in February, I started taking the vitamin D's. I started doing my research best I could, keeping my immunity up, staying out of the mix of things. But I did get around enough where I did develop, the doctor said, what he considers more of like a herd immunity. When you are out and about a little bit, you don't want to isolate completely if you're a healthy person, because then you get a lowered immunity system. So, bottom line, I did not get it, and my family did not get it. And we've been really focused on eating right and immunities and taking care of ourselves and positive thinking. I mean, the best I know how to do, I've been trying to do. And so all I'm saying is it may just be God's grace. I'm not sure, but I was able to take care of my mother, not get it, and not have my family get it in a very extreme situation that could have went a lot of different ways. So I'm grateful right now. I'm thankful my mother is home. I brought her home yesterday. She is doing good. They gave her the big guns, antibiotics. They gave her the same medicine they gave the president. Like, they gave her the big guns, and everything seems to be working, and she seems to be doing better. So if you guys don't mind and remember praying for me and my family, I'd really appreciate it. So anyway, if you guys have any questions or have anything you want to share with me, or would love to email me, or are interested in a reading, I will be picking up my readings again here in the next couple of weeks. I'll be doing readings again. Let me know, and I'll put my email and my website below. I'd love to hear from you guys. Thank you again so much for all your support. I love hearing from you, and I hope you have a great day. And I'm feeling good and thankful right now for all that's happened in the midst of a pretty big storm. So if I can do it, you guys can do it too. Have a good day.